Hey, I wanted to show you what our Vote Common Good studios look like here in my basement. That's where we run a lot of our Vote Common Good live streams out of. Tonight, we're doing a watch event of the January 6th hearing. Now, we think this really matters because the insurrection that happened on January 6th of 2021 is a major moment in our democracy. We all need to know what's happened there. So we put together a watch event where people come onto our YouTube channel. We hope you join us in just a couple of hours. And to be able to watch those hearings together, talk with each other, write comments. Some people come on screen. So we've had to figure out, well, what technology would allow us to do that, where we could be watching a live stream and then have people on the screen next to that, and then be able to bring other people's cameras on, because Zoom doesn't allow you to do that quite so simply if people want to just watch on the YouTube channel as opposed to through Zoom. So here's our setup. It's also just what we do on our regular live streams and so on. A couple of adaptations for tonight, but here's what we've got going on down here in the studio. All right, so this is my studio basement. I've got it on wide angle, so it might look like a big basement. I promise you it's not. I don't know, it's probably not 10 feet wide, 12 feet long, little small ceiling. All right, so here's the desk that I do a lot of the live streaming out of. This monitor here, this one's new for tonight. This is set up so that we can play the YouTube video and interact with it. In our normal setup, I have a microphone there. That's a microphone I normally talk into on podcasts. These microphones up here, by the way, those are just for when we shoot other videos where we don't want to have a microphone in the screen. And this is a monitor that we're going to be using so that we can look at comments and so on. But this is really where the magic happens. So this is a little teleprompter. Really simple. Thanks, Colby Martin, for the tip and the push to really get into this. The teleprompter allows me to look right at my camera. So here's how this is set up. This is an iPad, and the iPad then is connected to my computer through, this AirPlay share thing. And then inside of there, right on the other side, I'll take you up here so you can see it. That's where my camera is. So I have a Sony, A7S III camera, and you can see that it's right inside there. I tried to leave the lights on a little bit so you could see it. So there's a piece of glass right here, and this piece of glass then is a reflection of the iPad. What I'm able to do then is to see whatever we're going to be putting on the screen that people are going to be looking at and seeing tonight. So you can tell that right now it's going to have, this is me right behind here, right? So it's the camera coming through is going to be looking at me. I'll be able to see what's happening on the screen. We'll also be watching the YouTube broadcast of the hearings, and that allows me to look straight at the camera. All right, so that's that setup. We use this Rodecaster here for all of our recordings and so on. There's multiple channels. This is what allows us to be able to have microphone sound come out of channel 1, and then computer sound, which will be the YouTube channel, and everybody else talking come out of another one, and we can add in other features that we're not using at this moment. These two devices are kind of slick. In order to change the screen, we use a software called Ecamm, which you can see here. And what I'm able to do is use this little device here, and all of these are different channels. Are different scenes. So as I push these different buttons down here, it changes the scenes that are up here on the screen. So if we want to go to one where, let's say we're only going to show the video and we don't want anyone on, we can go to that angle, and I can push a button, change where there's 2 people on screen. Say we want to have 5 people on the screen. You can see those 5 silhouettes will fill up with people's cameras while we watch all this, and all this will be broadcasting live on YouTube. This is just an iPad that I use to control the lights in here. I have a little hue backup. This other camera here, so this is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but also kind of awesome, I think. All right, so with this camera, what I'm able to do, you can see over here on this screen, that's the camera coming straight here. It's a normal camera that I'll be talking into, and I'm looking through the teleprompter, and I can see that camera. This camera over here is hooked up to this little switcher down here. It's just another little Sony camera. And when I push this number 2 button down here, it switches from the main view to the side view, okay? So you can see that now this is the camera here. And if you look over on the left side of the screen, you'll see that now it's showing the side of my face and the side of my iPhone that I'm holding here on this little stand. And when I push that button, number 1, Then it changes over to the straight on view, and when I push that one, it changes to that view. Now, you might be asking yourself a really good question, like, seriously, does anybody really need that kind of a setup where you're going to be switching camera views in the middle of something? Well, not all the time, but every once in a while, it's just kind of fun to push the button and switch the angle and let people see something a little different than what they were seeing before, and then you push the button back and it pops back over here. And so it's a simple little switcher. I also run lots of other things through it. I can run other devices to be able to put them on my screen. But this little switching thing, it adds a little bit of dynamism. You know, sometimes people get bored watching things on video, and it adds a little bit of dynamism to what we got going on. So that's that little setup, if anybody's interested in that. Over here in this corner, you can see I've got a little light that's pushing off some color. That's to give a little side angle. And then, yeah, the big light that I use here to light things up. Anything else to look at? Behind the headlight, that's a real trick. It lights up your shoulders. It's called a hair light. For me, it's a hat light. Speaking of hats, so this is all the rest of my little setup, and then little storage things and little collection of caps and hats and tripods and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's the studio. That's what we've got going on. I'd love for you to join us tonight, and we're going to take all of this and put it to action and try to get people paying attention to what's happening in our country. So why do we do all this? Why have screens and monitors and cameras? Because we really do want to invite people to think differently about our politics, our civic life together. That is, as a person of faith, I think that all people should be involved in our democracy. And here's the problem with the basement. When someone's running a vacuum cleaner up above, the sound just comes ripping right through here. So you're probably hearing that. That's what that is. Hopefully we won't be vacuuming tonight during the watching of the January 6th hearings. But as a person of faith, as I was saying, we think that everyone should participate in our democracy. And when we do, we should make the common good our voting criteria, and that which drives us. And as we like to say around here, we all do better when we all do better. So let's make it about the common good. All right, so from the little studio, we'll bring this thing to life in a couple of hours, and we'll see you over on our YouTube channel.